elderly residents at the Story Point Senior Living Community in Michigan made the best of their winter day indoors. You guys might know there is an ongoing winter storm taking place in much of the country. We live in California, so we're not experiencing it. Sorry, but not sorry. But unfortunately, these residents were gonna have like a fun day out that got canceled because of the snow. And so they made the most of the situation. Here is a viral TikTok of the staff dragging them around in snow tubes. Look at that. They're having the time of their lives.
And the staff did it too, yeah.
Come on, look at.
Was that Bill Crystal?
Don't say that. Okay. How dare you besmirch that fine man. Look at. Aw, I love it so much. So we hear horror stories about nursing homes and stuff like that all the time, but apparently Story Point Senior Living Community is pretty freaking awesome. By the way, let me just note that it's really important to make sure that people are living joyful lives, even in their old age, even in their final years. Like it improves everything. So a 2018 study showed that even a small release in happiness contributes significantly to longevity. Yep. So do things that make you happy. Try to find joy in your life, even if things seem bleak. You can find something to be happy and joyful about. And so the author of the study says this: the consistency of the inverse association of happiness with mortality across age groups and gender is insightful. Men and women, the young, old, the old, all are likely to benefit from an increase in happiness. And so, by the way, the staff at this fine establishment do other fun things, which includes a mixology class.
Okay. Damn right, my favorite part of the mixology class is when you drink the experiment. Yeah,
and they, well, one of the drinks that they make is peanut butter White Russians.
Stop it, I'm going there now. I don't care that I'm not a senior citizen.
I love it.
Peanut butter White Russian?
Yes.
I jump in it.
I love it, I love it. You know, if sometimes the audience will ask me like, oh, if you weren't doing TYT, what would you do for work? Or, you know, and that's always an interesting question, and my mind immediately goes to like interior design because I do genuinely enjoy it.
Me too.
Yeah, totally. He's totes into interior design. Peel and stick wallpaper, he's all over it. Anyway, but anyway, no, but I always like think about, I don't know if I'd want to work for money at a nursing home or anything like that, but I would want to volunteer time. Yeah, I wish I had more time to volunteer at a place like this, you know, because man, it's like my biggest fear, like getting to that point in my life and feeling alone. And I think a lot of people do feel that, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, I hear you. So look, I have a lot to say about this. Of course, I love this story. You said, and I know you didn't mean it exactly like this, but you said even in their old age, it's important for them to be happy. I would say, especially in your old age, right? Like when I get to be a senior citizen, ain't nobody gonna stop me from being happy, okay? Well, you know, you should feel bad about this, and how about that responsibility? I ain't got no responsibility, and I don't give a damn about your judgment, okay? Get out the way. I don't have much time left. I gotta be happy. I gotta squeeze it all in. I gotta soak in life. Somebody get me the tube. The other one get me the peanut butter White Russian business. Okay, I'm gonna mix it up. It's probably a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh my God.
Okay, no holds barred. No holds barred. We have a show called Old School. You should check that out. Members get an extra episode of it. tyt.com/join. Anyways, in Old School, I've been talking about it for years. I'm gonna get to a point in my life where it's no holds barred.
Dude, but like that's how most elderly people are, which is why they're a riot to hang out with.
Yeah, because and by the way, we should all be like that.
They've got wisdom, no holds barred. They don't care. They're not holding back. So you have actual, frank, authentic conversations with them, and they've got stories. They've lived these incredible lives, and they have these incredible stories to share with you. My best friend's grandparents are still alive, and they lived through the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so cool to hear about what they've experienced in their lives, these historical events that we only learn about, right? Yeah. What was it really like to live through it?
So I'll tell you two things about that. First, like we treat senior citizens as if they're like some different species. They're just like us, but a tiny bit older.
They're better than us.
Okay, so
let's just keep it real. They're better than us.
Okay, I know they're not even better than us. There's a bunch of cranky old people who are no good.
They're the crankiest ones are the best.
I know, but except the right wingers. But anyway, but of course they're human. What? Snap out of it, right? Treat them like normal people. Obviously, it's the most obvious thing in the world. Anyway, but I've lived what Anna's saying. Like, I'm genuinely curious. So whenever I used to hang out with older relatives, I still do that now. It's just now my parents' generation rather than my grandparents' generation. I would ask them stories about the old days because I was so curious. Like, hey, Grandpa, how'd you get out of serving in World War I? We don't talk about that. Anyway. I picked a curious example. Anyways, so I'm glad he didn't. So there's, especially for me, because my grandparents and my parents grew up in a completely different time in Turkey. And so my dad has told stories, including on the show, by the way, you should watch that interview on The Conversation. Anyways, where he said like the luckiest day for him was when his neighbor would lend him borrow his mule. And he would get up at like 4 in the morning, but he didn't really know what time it was because they didn't have any clock, they didn't have any electricity, they didn't have a refrigerator, they didn't have anything. And he had to walk miles and miles to the field where he worked, where he would have to do backbreaking work in the hot sun the whole day. And he had to carry everything to the field all those miles. So if the neighbor let him have the mule, he could let the mule carry all that stuff. And it was like such a win for him. He was 12.
Oh my God.
Okay, and that continued all the way through until he went to college. So in the way that my uncle convinced him to study hard, because in the beginning he was actually lazy. If you know my dad, that seems unbelievable. But my uncle told him, look, you're gonna work hard your whole life either way. Either you're just gonna do it here on this hot field, breaking your back, right?
Yeah.
Or you're gonna work hard in school, then you can actually become an engineer or a doctor and you can make money and you can have a nice house and pretty girls. My dad's like, I jump in it. Okay, yeah. Both my dad and my uncle did not like the fields. They didn't like hot weather and it was backbreaking work, right? They were real farmers.
Yeah.
And so, and when you first, so hence talk to senior citizens, they have amazing stories.
Yes,
right?
They really do.
And by the way, since my dad lived through that, he has a perspective to be happier because he's like, oh, you think you have it tough. And you know, when Biden says it, it isn't true, right? But when people like my dad say it, it is true. And it depends on, you know, how you grow up and if you're poor and rich, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
But back to the happiness, I gotta say one more thing about that. Look, if you see me on Twitter or you've seen small clips of me online yelling and screaming, you might think that guy's got some anger management issues. And he's probably super stressed and stuff. No, as luck would have it, I'm actually the happiest man in America. Okay, and 222. But and anybody who has worked with me and knows me can attest to that. I get animated about the stories, and I want to fight for you guys, and you need someone to fight on these issues, etc. But in the rest of my life, I'm very happy, and thank God, right? But you want to know what the trick is? You just choose happiness. Okay, all right. Now that elicits the because haha, it sounds like a cliche and like, what do you mean you just choose happiness? But I got news for you and it's amazing. You actually can. It is a choice. Every day and every moment, there's a thing to be happy about and a thing to be mad about. And every day and every minute, we make that choice. And a lot of us choose to be mad or sad. Now, by the way, some people don't have that choice, don't get me wrong. There's real clinical issues, there's chemical issues, etc. And obviously, go to a doctor for that. But a lot of people choose to be sad, choose to be mad. They say, oh, but you don't know, there's so many things going wrong in my life. Oh no, I do know that, brother. I'm not saying you shouldn't be sad or you shouldn't be mad based on your circumstances. I'm saying nonetheless, you are making a choice. I bet there are some good things in your life, and if you focused on those, you'd be way happier and that would be a good thing. I'm just giving you that as a tip. If you're annoyed by it, I don't blame you.
I mean, I used to be annoyed by that. I used to be annoyed by that for sure. Especially when I was going through depression, not because of any chemical issue. It was just, I was going through hard things, right? But there were also simultaneously a lot of great things happening.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.